Vocodex is FL Studio's powerful built-in channel vocoder. It takes the frequency content of one sound, the modulator, which is usually a voice, and applies it to another sound, the carrier, which is usually a synth or sustained tone. This makes the carrier talk or sing with the modulator's characteristics. In order to set up Vocodex, you will need to set up a synth carrier and a vocal modulator. I will use Synth as the carrier and a vocal sample for this example. You can also set up a microphone on the Vocodex mixer track for live vocoding. Next, you will want to turn down the inputs on both the carrier and modulator tracks to the master. Sidechain both of them to the Vocodex track. In Vocodex, adjust these numbers here to match the correlated carrier and mod tracks. The big wet knob is the dry-wet mix control. The SG slider, or Soundgoodizer slider, applies FL Studio's Soundgoodizer maximizer. The mod slider controls how much of the original modulator passes through to the output. This knob applies a high-pass filter on the mod slider pass-through. The carrier slider controls how much of the raw carrier passes through. The knob is the low pass for the carrier pass-through. The noise slider adds broadband noise to the carrier, extremely useful for making speech intelligible. The knob is a high-pass filter for the noise slider. The LR encoding switch is a special stereo mode where left channel equals the modulator and right channel equals the carrier, or vice versa. The contour section lets the volume envelope of the carrier or the consonants in the modulator to dynamically control the modulator pass-through and/or the noise level. From carrier uses carrier's volume envelope. Consonants detect sibilants and consonants in the modulator. To mod and to noise applies that contour to the pass-through or noise. The draft button lowers CPU usage at the expense of some audio quality. The threaded button allows multi-threading for improved CPU performance. Hold controls how long a band stays open after the modulator signal drops, which is used to prevent choppy and glitchy sound. Attack controls how fast bands open when the modulator gets louder. Release controls how long bands stay open after the modulator gets quieter. Longer release creates more reverb-like or smeared effect. Peak creates a more aggressive response. RMS creates a smoother, more natural response and uses less CPU. The minimum times button forces bands to stay open for a minimum time, which reduces audible glitches. The order bar is the filter steepness of the band detection. Lower numbers are less steep and higher numbers are more steep. Lower order will tend to make it sound more like the original synth, and a higher order will make it sound more like the original vocal. You can select from 5 to 100 vocoder bands. Each band is a slice of the carrier frequency spectrum under the control of the modulator signal. More bands also means more CPU usage. The bandwidth knob adjusts the width of the vocoder bands, set by ear, not by sight. The filter flatness knob controls if the bands have pointy or flat peaks, which will affect the distribution of frequencies within each band. Another control to set by ear. The modulator bandwidth multiplier knob sets the bandwidth of the modulator detection filters. Lower settings produce a more resonant sound, while higher settings produce a softer, more breathy sound. The modulator pitch shift knob adjusts the pitch of the vocoder, down for a more masculine sound or up for a more feminine sound. The modulator unison shift knob controls the pitch shift between unison voices, although the modulation unison order must show a number for this control to be active. The modulator unison panning knob controls the unison voice panning. The modulation unison order number is similar to a chorus effect, where voices of the output are detuned and panned. The snowflake button freezes the current band levels. This box is the envelope selector. Turn this on so your mapping envelope moves together with the modulator pitch shift knob. Leave it off if you want the envelope to stay fixed and save a bit of CPU. The snowflake icon frees all envelopes to afford a clearer view of the envelope. Step editing lets you set as many control points as you want, allowing you to draw envelope curves. Snap to grid will let you move points on the graph to grid lines. Slide remaining points, when selected, slides all control points after the moved point. This drop-down menu lets you choose an internal synth preset built into Vocodex as a carrier.